All right, everybody. Welcome back to No Cover TV's podcast. That's right. I'm your host, Big Al, and I take that original local and national music and I just shove it in your face, kind of smack you up, because you need to hear what is out there. Great music all over the world of all genres and even age groups. It's amazing, from the youngsters to the elders to everybody in between. Let's get your music and your story out there. I feel it's my job to do that. I've been doing it since '97, so let's get your story out there. And people out there, get on your tablets, your phone, stone tablets, whatever you use, because we've got a hell of a show for you today. Very special show for you today. You know how to get a hold of me. That's No Cover TV on Facebook or NoCoverTV@yahoo.com. If you do the email, get a hold of me, bands. It's about you and your music. I want to thank Rip Music out of Grand Rapids in Holland, Michigan. Go there. Pick up one of the No Cover TV guitar picks for 50 cents. That is your coupon for 10% off any accessory in the store. And if you sweet talk them, you might get a little more. I don't know. We'll see how that works. But let's not waste time. Great show for you. I've been promoting this, advertising this. This is going to be fun. Great. In the house, the one, the only, Sammy Serious from the Zeros is in the house. How you doing, brother?
I'm here. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Sammy, you're over in New Jersey right now, aren't you?
Good old New Jersey, yeah.
Yeah, a little chilly over there right now.
It is chilly right now.
Yes, indeed. So Sammy's in the house. We're going to do a two-part show with Sammy. And we're going to talk about the past, and then we're going to talk about the present and what's going on with Sammy. So stick around and check out, because we're going to get real and raw here. This is Sammy's show. He's going to talk the way he wants to talk. So Sammy was with the Zeros, a.k.a. the Double Zeros, back in the day, right, my friend?
That's right, yeah. That was our name. Double O Zeros, yeah.
The Double O Zeros, okay.
Yeah.
Now, everybody should know, but you were a glam punk rock band back in the 80s, early 90s.
Yeah, we were in those categories, yeah.
Yeah, you were. Oh my God!
I didn't even realize what we were. It's like
until
something, a little bit of everything, I think.
A little bit, well, definitely. Yeah. Now, I want to do a little fun with you. I take everybody on a little time capsule. Is that all right if I do that with you?
Go ahead.
All right. I'm going to take you a little further back before the Zeros. I want to take you back to when you're 16.
Oh, my God.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Now, what are you listening to at 16 years old?
What was that?
What are you jamming to? What are you listening to?
Oh, shit. I mean, 16, Black Sabbath.
There we go.
Led Zeppelin. Mm-hmm. Beatles, Stones, The Who.
Nice.
Queen. I don't think I was 16 when Queen came out. I don't know. I was a little bit older.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, I saw Alice Cooper.
Yeah.
David Bowie. Yeah, so 72 and 73. I forgot. 76, I was about 18.
Okay.
So, I mean, 72 and 73 was, I think, the best years for music, really.
A lot of great bands out there.
Yeah, a lot of good stuff. I mean, Deep Purple.
Amazing.
Yeah, no, I mean, I got into, getting into my 16-year-old stuff. There was a lot of bands that were offshoot bands. Well, not really offshoot bands, but the Uriah Heep.
Oh, yes.
There was a band called Captain Beyond. Remember that?
Oh, Captain Beyond.
Stuck in my head.
That's an old one.
You remember them?
Yes.
Oh, you do remember them. Okay. And then there was Sweet.
Sweet. Oh, yeah.
And Bad Company was around back then. I mean, I mean, and Queen was around. Yeah, but I remember listening to Queen. We were listening to Queen like when their first album came out.
Okay, so let's move a little forward. When did you pick up a guitar? Or what instrument did you start playing first?
About 12.
12.
Well, look, I had my sister bought me we went to Sam Goody.
Sam Goody.
Yeah, remember that?
Oh, yeah.
They had a guitar. I wanted this guitar there. And I asked her to buy it for me. She did. Yeah. So it was called a Height, H-E-I-T, and I still remember it. I mean, like it was like the Sunburst guitar. It laid under my bed for about 6 months.
Really?
And then I started picking it up, and I had a couple of friends that were really that were into playing and stuff, and we would get together and jam back then. And I remember when my friend came over with a Univox fuzz box,
Right.
and then I saw the clouds opened up, because you were never able to get that distorted sound out of a little practice amp, they had.
No.
Yeah.
Wow.
Not like now. Now they have the built distortion and all that stuff. Back then you were clean, and there was no
right.
There was no distorted guitars. So when you had the fuzz box, it made it sound like more like the guys on the records.
Yeah. Exactly. Now, what age did you start your first band?
About 17, 18.
17, 18. And what was that name of that band?
What was the name of us? What we called it Breezer, BREEZER.
Okay.
For some reason, that was the name. Yeah.
So back in the day, you're listening to the heavy stuff. When did you decide to go the more glam punk?
Well, it was never really, that heavy stuff, really, like Queen and Led Zeppelin and stuff like that. I mean, it was more like blues, really. So it was like,
right.
I leaned into the blues more with I started getting into like Alvin Lee, Johnny Winters, stuff like that, and just all this blues phase started coming over, and that was really what it was. It was more or less like that. It wasn't like glam yet. You know what I mean? Okay. It was more like, right. And then when you talk like glam, I mean like that starts getting into like the Ziggy Stardust, the Sweet, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And Sweet had some songs that were like kind of like these punky kind of things. And then the Ramones, the Ramones and the Sex Pistols was, but that was not until 77. So that's about right there. Yeah.
So let's go to 80, 81, right before the 000 started. Now you're the singer-songwriter. This is all about you and you putting this together.
Yeah.
Now, the gentleman that was in the lineup, did you know them previous?
Wait, what was that?
The gentlemen that were in the lineup, Mr. Insane, Danny, Joe.
Okay.
Did you know?
No, none of them were in the lineup at that time.
None of them.
No, the band, the 000 started with me and a friend.
All right.
And he played bass, and we had this guitar player, and it started like forming, on that. But then I met, I saw what happened was the bass player, he couldn't do it anymore.
Oh.
All right. And basically because me and him went over to Joe's house to audition him.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Really?
So. Yeah. And then Joe really was like, just starting out on guitar and stuff like that.
Okay. So
we played, we auditioned him. It was me and this guy, Danny, not Danny Dangerous. It was way earlier. Some guy I knew. And we auditioned Joe. And then Joe I figured, I'd work with Joe and see if we could, get things going. We'd work with him and see if we could get things going. And then Joe said, I have a brother who plays drums, because the drummer then was in a wedding band, and he wanted to play in the wedding band. So it was like he was making money with that. So it was like kind of like,
oh, brother,
But you're going way back now. So then Joe goes, oh, hey, I got my brother who plays drums. And I go, wow, really? I go, is he good? And he was like, I think he was like 3 years younger than Joe at the time. Now the basic story is that, we got him on the drums, but you see, these guys, I didn't know this at the time when I auditioned them for the band. I was in a band with their sister.
Sister?
Is that freaking out or what?
That's
I was
weird.
in a band before that with his sister.
Okay.
So when I went over the house to audition them with the bass player, it was like, I know this house, you know what I mean? I was here, you know what I mean? So it was like, that was it. Where that's how I knew them. I knew them from their sister, but I didn't know them. They were always around, but I didn't know them.
You didn't know them, but you knew the sister.
Yeah, yeah. So in other words, I was in a band with his sister. His sister was this girl Linda, and it was me, Linda, with Bobby Tantino, and this other guy,
Okay.
Pat Price. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But then, that was, so then the Zero started. Joe had the brother, and then, we auditioned. I auditioned them. And then I said, all right, we'll work together, see what happens.
Good deal. Well, it seemed to be working out great because you started out in Jersey, didn't you?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, we practiced every day. We were really a hardworking band. It wasn't, we were really trying to, get a record deal and stuff like that. And then,
oh, yes.
Yeah, so, we were doing a bunch of stuff. And,
so now,
we were playing all the clubs.
Right. So you're real hot in New Jersey. Did somebody pick you up and bring you to LA, or did you do this on your own?
Well, it's like kind of like sort of we did it on our own, but there's a whole part where England and New Jersey and the tri-state area and everything back then. So there was a lot going on. I think LA came into the picture after, because we knew there was a scene going on over there. We used to get Band Magazine over here.
Oh yeah. Right.
I said people send us Band Magazine. I think, and what happened? We'd look in there, and they'd have like all these bands in there. You know what I mean? They were all like these kind of glam bands, and it seemed like they had a big scene going on over there. We went over there, because there wasn't really no scene. Everything over in New York was 21 and up.
Okay.
So you couldn't get in the clubs with having kids see the band. You know what I mean? Where it was it was more like an adult kind of thing.
Right.
And they were more into dancing than hearing music over there. So that's really kind of what made us leave.
Get the push over there.
Yeah, and but before that we went to England. England was like pretty good because they had all ages clubs where you played there. So we got used to that. So when we went back to New York, but after that we started playing around, and it was just a very selective kind of scene over there in New York at the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You had a bunch of dance clubs, and then you had CBGBs, and you had Great Gildersleeves, and you had a bunch of tracks up on 72nd Street, and all kinds of stuff like that. But each thing was a separate kind of thing where it was like, some clubs were like, CB's was punk, you had Gildersleeves, which was hard rock, and then, tracks up there. Then before they had Max's Kansas City, and that was like a punk kind of rock thing over there too.
Oh, a hell of a scene over there.
What's that?
There was a hell of a scene over there in that day.
Oh yeah, it was good. It was a good scene.
Mm-hmm. It was. Okay, so we're heading to LA now. When did you come up with "I'm gonna make everybody wear purple"?
Oh, the purple thing?
Yeah.
Well, I dyed my hair purple because you see, I had blonde hair before that.
Yes, you did.
And then I started getting the Dee Snider thing. Everybody started going, "Hey, is that Dee Snider?" And they're like, "No, I'm not Dee Snider." You know what I mean? Even though we play with Dee Snider, but the thing was that we did shows with Dee Snider, but I'm just saying, like, it was like I just said, you know what? I gotta just change this.
You did it good.
Yeah. So I dyed. We were doing different colors. It wasn't just like a purple thing. It was more like the purple thing. A lot of stuff was like just we did different colors too. I did pink and whatever color I wanted to do in it, and then the purple thing looked the best.
Yeah. I like it. I love it, man. Unbelievable. Yeah. So you hit the scene in LA, and it's taken off. You're working with some amazing bands out there at that time. God, Faster Pussycats going on, Warren, LA Guns, Guns N' Roses, Poison.
Yeah. Oh, yes. It was a good scene over there.
It was a great scene. And you opened up for a lot of these. You played with a lot of these bands.
Yeah, it was like, opened up for a headline, Nate headline. We opened, Nate opened, whatever. It didn't matter. It was just like, one big thing going on. And, sometimes, some nights we would open the show. Some nights we would close the show. You know what I mean?
Right. Well,
and then stuff like that.
Well, you were actually ruling the Sunset Strip. Actually, I feel. I mean,
what was that?
You were ruling the Sunset Strip.
Ruling, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We were. If you were somebody, and you came into town, you knew our band because we were the clubs were painted purple, and the name was on the clubs, and it was on the whiskey, it was on the teaser. It was like we were playing it with, and we became really kind of real popular on that strip.
Well, I wanted to talk that because one of your labels, it was Restless Records that set that up with Whiskey.
Well, Restless Records was Enigma Records.
Was it?
That's what it was.
Okay.
Remember Enigma Records?
Yes, I do. Back in the day.
Yeah, they had Poison. They had a bunch of people on it. They had Smithereens, Poison. They had,
they set up the Whiskey Go-Go and the Coconut Teasers and to paint it all purple for you.
That was Restless Records had the whiskey. They did that. The whiskey. The teaser did it as a promotion for the teaser too. It wasn't. Restless didn't do that. We did our record release party at the Whiskey.
Okay.
And then we did our video. We did the first video, which was Love's Not Fair, was the album, and that was the teaser. Did the party for that.
So that was 1991 when we released the 4321 album.
That was 1991. Yeah,
91. The hell of
it was 92. Wasn't it 92?
91, 92.
No, I'm probably 91.
Let's not climb over years here. But that album took right off. Incredible.
Was that? The album took off?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, a lot of people really loved the album, and, we, it was a good album. I mean, it didn't see the light of day as much as I wanted it to.
Right.
Because we did have some issues going on in the band.
Mm-hmm.
But, overall, it was a great album. It still holds up to this day, and people still love it, and they want to hear it. And when we go out on tour, I'm going to play it. So,
good.
It's definitely, thing the Zeros are known for, 4321.
Well, from my heart and all the followers and the fans, we miss you, Sammy. And we're looking forward to
I'll be there.
We can't wait.
I'm coming out. It's a long enough wait,
That's right. It's time.
Yeah, I do miss it. I really do, because we were out touring, and stuff like that, and we hit a lot of cities, made a lot of friends, and it'll be good to go out again and see everybody.
Everybody wants to get up close and see you. That's for sure.
That's good.
Because you're all over the place.
Really?
Yeah, you like to move and shake. I love it.
Oh, cool.
I want to talk about this little episode, the Howard Stern Show. That looked like a lot of fun.
It was, a lot of fun.
A lot of fun. What a hell of a song. Opening up the Howard Stern
I love
song.
the song. The song was great. I love the song, wrote the song for Howard. It was a good song. I mean, he opened with the show with it a lot. And,
that was great. You were on the rooftop performing that, weren't you?
What's that?
I thought I seen you on the rooftop performing it.
On a rooftop?
Yeah.
What? No, I think you're thinking of the Beatles. Let it be.
Well, you're better than the Beatles. No, I'm not thinking of the Beatles.
Oh.
I'll find a
rooftop. Where's this at?
I'll find it. I found some things I don't know if I want to talk about.
Really, a rooftop? That's cool.
Yeah, it was all you guys. You were sitting by, looked like an air conditioning duct.
Really?
Yeah. Blonde hair.
Maybe if I see the picture, I'll recognize it, but I don't remember that.
Oh, it was funny. Oh, it was great.
Yeah.
So, but I want to talk about some of the labels. Okay, you were with Enigma Restless Records. And then there was Mountain Records, and then Blaminy Brothers.
Mountain Records, yeah. Mountain Records, yeah.
And then Blaminy Brothers Records.
Blaminy Brothers is my label, yeah.
Okay.
I opened a label that was mine.
That's your label. All right. Dealing with labels and record deals can be a pain in my butt. How was it in yours?
Oh, record deals? Well, I mean, like, they're exciting and then they're depressing at the same time. You know what I mean? Okay. So it's like, you get a deal and it's exciting and, they want to do something and then, it could go and be good and then it could, things get in the way and stuff like that. And things could mess up, so.
Right, exactly. Now, out of all the labels, which one did the best for you?
that's a trick question. Because some labels give you money, some labels put out records, some people, give you promotion. I mean, it just, they put you on TV shows. It's just, paint the whiskey purple and stuff like that. I mean, it's all different kinds of stuff. So
a lot of things they can offer you. Yes.
What's that?
There's a lot of things they can offer.
Yeah, right. Sure. Definitely. Hopefully one of those is money. But,
You're right.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to get into I don't want to say sensitive area, but let's talk about your bandmates.
Which ones?
Every one of them.
All right.
Now, we've had some problems with the guys. We're not too happy about some things.
Which lineup?
Well, let's go with Danny, Joe, and Mr.
I call that the 4-3-2-1 lineup. 4-3-2-1
lineup. Let's talk about those guys.
Yeah, good guys.
They are good guys.
We were best friends. I mean, we still are in a way. I mean, it's like we just have arguments about stuff that musical differences and stuff like that. So
okay. The musical differences, they just aren't in. It's not in their heart anymore, is it?
It's not what?
It's not in their heart anymore, is it?
Well, it depends what you're talking about. If you're talking about a whiskey show and playing the strip, they're into doing that. If you're talking about going on tour and doing anything else besides the Sunset Strip, they're not really too fond of doing that.
They're not too
and fond. Making a record, they weren't too fond of doing that. And that's why I had to do that record. So I'm going to get to that later. But
yeah,
what's the questions you want to know?
All right.
Sure, there's a few.
Yes, there is. Well, the 4-3-2-1 lineup. Everybody's got a pain in the ass. Which one is it?
Which one do I get along with the best, you're saying?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Well, I mean, look, everybody has their issues, man. Even me. I'm not going to say I don't, okay?
Right.
But the thing is that can we get around it? Okay, that's the question. So the thing is, sometimes we butt heads, and it just turns into a mess, okay?
Right.
So I can give you an example all through with the whiskey show books, the whiskey books 6 months in advance, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, we were trying to get the original 4-3-2-1 lineup together, which played the strip because we were the band on the strip. So the whiskey wants that band, right? I want that band because, that band is the staple of the Sunset Strip, okay? We played there. We played in the Whiskey Purple. We did a lot of newsworthy events, okay? So, I mean, the whole thing was that we, what was the question again?
Who'd you get along with the best? That was it.
Oh, yeah. My favorite topic. Well, I was really good friends with these guys, and I still kind of am. Right? They never leave my life. Okay, there's always a lull there, and then it comes back into play of something and everything else. But I butt heads with all of them. Really, I mean, they all got their way. They all got their ways of doing things, and I started the band, and I put the band. It was basically my band, okay, and kind of I wrote the music for the band and everything else. So it's kind of, as we got older and stuff like that, it turned into more I want this, I want that. But, which could have been a reality, but they don't really want to tour. That's really the bottom line.
That sucks. That really sucks.
Yeah. So it's and the record, when I wanted to make the record, they didn't want to do that either. So it turned into I'm just going to say, yeah, if we get on stage, it's great. But if we get, to get on stage, it's a mess. There's a lot of issues. There's a lot of issues with it.
That's too bad. That's too bad, Sammy. That's too bad.
So I mean, I'm in good company because Steven Tyler and Joe Perry and everybody else. They all fight. All right, and it's all a big mess anyway with all these bands. So it isn't like it isn't like we're the only ones.
Right, right.
So I understand that, and it's not a problem. It's just trying to get around it, make it work.
Right.
Like who's going to give in to who? That's really what it is. Who's going to give in to who and see what happens? So the whole thing is like, sometimes I give in and sometimes they give in and sometimes we don't give in.
Right.
At all.
Well, like you said in the beginning, you put this together. This is your baby, and you're in control of it. So you're going to do it your way.
Well, yeah. I mean, like I should, I have final say on what goes on because of the fact that I did have final say all through the years. So it's basically kind of some kind of glitch there where, everybody else wants to have something to do with it, which is fine.
Mm-hmm.
I have no problem with that.
Right.
But it has to pass a certain, kind of thing where, it works out,
Right, right. Oh, boy, Sammy, we got a lot to talk about. Woo! So this is a question I want to ask. Now, back in the 80s there, in the early 90s, you guys played and party hard. The old saying SDR. You remember that saying?
Wait, what was the saying?
SDR. Sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
Oh, yeah. Of course. Well, the sex and the rock and roll was there, but the drugs for us was kind of, we really didn't get into that.
Good.
Too much.
Did you run into a lot of problems with the other guys, the other artists?
With other artists doing drugs?
Yeah.
Well, there was a lot of artists that, other bands that were doing drugs. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We kind of stayed away from it. It wasn't our thing. So, I mean, like the thing is that, we saw a good deal of people dying and stuff like that. So it kind of straightened us out from doing anything really.
Yeah, it's not cool, man. Well, I'm glad the sex and rock and roll worked out.
Yeah, the sex and rock and roll was there. Yeah, that was there.
That was there all the way. All right.
Yeah.
Oh,
if I had to pick two, those would be the two main ones.
It'd be the two main ones. I like that. I liked it a lot. Now, I see that you've got a lot of zero mongers out there.
Yeah, a lot of people want to see us play.
Oh my God, Sammy, it's incredible.
Well, that's why I'm going to put together this new lineup, and it's going to be the 1, 2, 3, 4 lineup.
That's right.
Yeah,
we're going to talk about it in the second part about that.
Yeah. Okay.
But I want to ask some questions, basic questions about back then.
Yeah.
Can you think about what might have been the most memorable show you did with the Zeros?
I'll tell you, the ones that stick out are the ones that were the fucking the chaos ones. Mm-hmm. Like the Spinal Tap ones.
Oh, brother. That had to be intense.
Yeah, I'd love to tell you some of these stories, but they're like, I don't know if they're suitable for the interview. This is your show. It's right. They were funny, but what the question was, what was shows that stood out? Yeah. There was a lot of shows that stood out. I mean, we played the Civic Center over in Santa Monica with Warrant. Nice. That was a nice show, and we did. We played the Strip, Troubadour. Roxy was a great place to play. Oh yes, it was like a lot of good shows there, and the Whiskey. I mean, we were around. I mean, we were on two scenes. Our band actually crossed over because we were on the underground scene, and we did play a lot on the underground scene. So it was like they used to have a club. It was White Trash Go-Go. There was Scream. It was sort of like on that scene, which wasn't really the Strip side of the scene. Okay, right. It was more like another side of the scene. So we were on that scene as well. Nice. So so we put a lot of time into that scene as well. We were just one of the bands that were lucky, and we had like a following where we had goth people following us, we had punk people, and we had rockers. I mean, we had heavy metalers. It was just a combination of everything. That's wonderful. And that's what kind of put us on the map, because we were able to bring in a lot of people who were into different kinds of music.
That's wonderful. And if you hear a little noise in the background, that's my mascot, Zoe, growling.
That's what?
My mascot, Zoe, growling, my dog.
Oh, your dog. Okay, cool.
She's upstairs. She wants down, but she don't. Oh, so we continue. Now, I want to ask you this question.
Yeah.
You performed with a lot of amazing acts. Is there one act out there that you might not have performed with, but you would want to? Who would you want to perform with out there?
What band would I want to join?
Well, not join, but perform with.
Oh, you mean like play shows with?
Yeah. Any band out there.
I mean, I don't know. That's a good question. I mean, like, there's a lot of bands I like to perform with. Yeah. But
I'll give you two. I want two.
Yeah.
Who? Give me two bands.
Okay, who?
The Who.
You tell me, and I'll tell you if I want to perform first.
All right. How about the Sex Pistols?
What?
How about the Sex Pistols?
Oh, I would love to play with those guys. I perform with them, open up or do something. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. I did the first one. You got to come up with a second one, Sammy.
I would love to perform with open up a show with the Beatles, but that ain't gonna happen.
I'll make some calls, Sammy. We'll see what we can do.
The Stones would be cool.
That would be fun.
Aerosmith would be cool.
Aerosmith, there you go.
Yeah, I'd love to play for Aerosmith.
Nice.
Well, I mean, just stuff like that. I mean, just there's so many bands,
Yeah. Well, I think the time is right where they're going to want to play with you. It's going to be everybody. Everybody.
I hope so.
Sammy's back.
That'd be great.
That's great. Now, this other question here is, you've been around all over.
Yeah.
What's the best stage, and what stage haven't you performed on that you want to perform on?
There's so many cool stages. I mean, like, I like this, actually, the less room on the stage, the better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's just weird. I don't understand why, but the thing is, because everybody's close together, so you're really right next to everybody in the band. So it's like, you get a good energy and you throw off a good energy on the stage, when everybody's really close. When you're far away, it's kind of like, you got to work it more and run around more and stuff like that because it's a big stage. But
right,
I find like the small places, with the big crowd and everybody's jammed in there. I kind of dig that.
So you'd like to probably be with the 250-500 crowd, 1,000 people.
The what?
You'd probably like to be with 1,000 or less.
Well, the Whiskey Go-Go is a great venue.
Yes.
Perfect. There's a great stage there. The monitors are great. Everything's great. It works good. It looks, you got a balcony up on top, and it's a good, and the Roxy too. Both those places.
Yeah.
And the Troubadour. Troubadour is really cool, and
a lot of history in those places. A lot of history.
Well, the good thing about it is the stage is up high.
Yes.
Higher than a lot of clubs, because a lot of clubs you're on the floor, but it's like maybe you got a 6-inch stage.
Right.
So if you jam a lot of people in there, it's like you can't really see the band too well. But, the other clubs with the higher stages is really good.
Okay. All right. What's the biggest crowd you played for?
I don't know. I mean, what's a big crowd? 10,000 people?
10 or more?
There was a couple of concerts we did. I mean, there were college concerts, you know what I mean? Where there was a lot of people. It was an open festival kind of thing.
Yeah.
And stuff like that.
Festivals are great. A lot of people at those festivals.
Yeah, right, yeah.
And they're good people, very good people. They're all good people.
Yeah, yeah.
Definitely.
But, I mean, like that, and
okay.
I don't know, around that kind of thing.
Now, one other general question for you. All right, you're behind the stage, and it's time for you to get on that stage and get all geared up. You start jamming, and everybody's hitting the stage, jumping, dancing, singing your songs. How does Sammy's heart feel?
Great.
Yeah.
There's nothing better. There's nothing better than forgetting the words and looking at somebody in the audience and they're mouthing them, and then I could just take it from there. You know what I mean? It's like having a human monitor.
That's beautiful.
I'm just kidding.
No,
No, I mean, like, people do. One thing about a zero show is that you will see, if you're looking from out on the stage, you will see everybody singing along.
That's
and
great.
it's very refreshing to see that.
That is, and it seems like your heart is still big.
What's that?
Your heart is still big, I see.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, man. Everybody out in podcast land, Sammy Serious is with us. We're almost wrapping up the first part. We still got a little bit to talk about. We're going to take a little break down. We're going to do the second part and find out what's going on now with Sammy. Oh, yeah, a lot happening. Now, I wanted to say, I'm looking around. There's a lot of copycats out there taking the name Zero. What do you think of that?
That is a problem, ain't it?
Yes,
I mean, when we had the 000s, okay, and the zeros, it's like nobody even like thought that name was any good.
Really?
Okay, like they were there like the 000s. It was like they didn't get it. You know what I mean? It was like kind of like I got it over in England. But over here in the States, it was kind of like they were going, what? Like, why would you call yourself a zero? You know what I mean? So it was kind of like that. And then all of a sudden, all these bands start calling themselves the Zeros, this, that. And there was the Zeros back in 77, which
right.
we found out later about when we already had the Zeros. So they reformed. They were out in 77 and they broke up, and then they reformed when we came out with our album. So there was kind of a conflict. It was kind of like, you had both bands kind of using the name, and they were supposed to use the name 077.
Oh, okay.
We were supposed to use the names the Zeros.
Okay.
So, because the whole thing was everybody was calling us the Zeros. We were called the 000s, but nobody could really they just was like the Rolling Stones, and they just wanted to call us something short. So instead of saying the Rolling Stones, you say the Stones, because it's Stones,
plural. Yeah,
and that's what it was. People started calling us, because we were the 000s in Los Angeles for a little while.
Okay.
And then what happened was everybody started calling us the Zeros. So then we decided to check into the name and see who was using it, if there was one, if that. There wasn't anybody using it. It was free and clear, and we had the name where we trademarked the name, and then we found out later that there was a band that put out a couple 45s or something back in 77 that broke up. So they were already broken up for about 25, 20 years.
So their trademark was dead and yours was live.
Yeah, they didn't even. It wasn't really even a trademark for them. It was more like they had a band. It was called the Zeros, and it was like, they just broke up.
Okay.
And the name was just. The thing was that we used to go to when we were playing the clubs. These guys would come into the club and see us. They would come into the club, and I would talk to them. And I talked to one guy there, and his name was Elvis, and he I don't know if he was the leader of the band or whatever he was, but I said, Elvis, I go, what's going on? Because we talked to these guys, and after we found out that they were the Zeros, so they came out. So I said, what's up? And I go, we're coming out with an album. I go, what's going on with your band? Because I don't want to take anybody's name. Okay, that's the last thing I want to do. Just like I didn't want to look like D. Snyder. You know what I mean? So the whole thing, I didn't want to do that. And it was like, so he goes, no, we're not using that name at all ever. You know what I mean? We stopped using that a long time ago. Yeah. And he was doing some kind of Elvis thing he was doing. He goes, I'm doing my Elvis thing now. No one's using that name. Don't worry about it. So I said, okay, that's great. You know what I mean?
Right. Oh,
so that's the way that happened. But then they I guess they reformed for some reason and started using the Zeros, and it turned into kind of confusion. So I told them, I go, look, we had the record company call them, and the record company made a deal, because they didn't want any confusion with the name of the albums and everything like that. So they call themselves, when they advertise themselves and stuff like that, it was 077. So if anybody wants to check out that band, go to the internet. They're on there.
Okay.
077.
Well, I appreciate you promoting another band. That's cool.
They're nice guys. Their album, their music's good. You know what I mean? I dig it. It's good stuff.
Well, I'll ask you, what do you think of the scene right now and all that different music out there?
Right now?
Yeah.
Well, there is none. What are you talking about? I don't hear anybody. The only ones who are putting out records are the old timers that are like, guys who were back in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. There ain't really anybody putting out anything now. Is there?
You kind of stumped me on that one.
What?
You kind of stumped me on that one.
I haven't heard of a new band that came out that was exciting in like since, maybe in like late 90s.
Late 90s.
Yeah.
Well,
Nirvana was the last thing that really kind of made a big impact on music, right?
Yeah, they were a very big impact.
Okay.
There's another band out there that's going to make a very big impact too. That's the new.
I wonder who they are.
I wonder who they are. Sammy. Oh, my friend.
No, I mean, name a band. There's a few bands that really. There's nobody really. No new music. The only the only new music you're really hearing is stuff like this, the new Stones album and stuff like that.
Right. Wow.
I'm
looking forward to what's coming up. Now, are you still selling some of the 432s?
No, I have a deal going on with Warner Brothers they want to put out the 43210 album.
They do. Oh, okay.
Re-release it, yeah.
All right.
Is that a part 2 thing?
Yeah, we'll go to part 2. Right. All right.
We're in part 2?
Not yet.
Oh, okay.
All right, Sammy. Let's wrap up part 1, and then we'll go to part 2. All right, Sammy?
Yeah, sure.
So, all right, stay with me, Sammy. But anyways, everybody out there, stick around for part 2. It is coming up, and we got some amazing stuff. And I appreciate you, Sammy, talking about the past and the 000s and the zeros.
Oh, yeah, no problem.
I appreciate that. So, all right, we're going to end it. We're in part 2 coming up. So stay tuned, everybody. It's Big Al, No Cover TV. We'll be right back.